As many people who follow Germany know, there's been a controversy about the migration issue that was started by Angela Merkel, who opened the borders of Germany, and not only of Germany, but of Europe, actually, 2.5 years ago. And the controversy is there are still a lot of people who, especially on the left, who believe that this is an answer to the German labor shortage, which is rather dramatic. Germany has a fertility rate of 1.47, which means that it's losing population constantly, and it needs labor. Other people say that the people that came as migrants are not well qualified, skilled, educated, and if anything are likely to become a burden to the Social Security system. By harking back to the admonition that Milton Friedman gave years ago by saying that open borders and welfare system simply don't mix. So what is the actual situation? Let me just give you a number of figures, which are all from official German figures. Germany, after Merkel opened the borders in September of 2015, until now, according to official figures, has accepted asylum applications from 1.4 million people. In terms of the figures that we have, for instance, we have figures for 2016. 70% of the asylum applicants approved, and some 28% are turned down. However, the interesting thing is that being turned down does not mean that you need to leave Germany, even less that you have to fear being deported. You have the right to appeal. Virtually all of these people that are turned down do appeal. They decline the fact that they're not allowed to stay. And in the second time, at least in terms of 2011, the number of people that were approved, about 70%. However, this is not the real issue. The real issue is chain migration, and we know that German law allows for chain migration. Everybody that's accepted as a asylum member has the right to bring his family and children to Germany, and those that are underage, the 36% of the migrants were underage. They have the right to bring their siblings and their parents. So what you're talking about actually is that if you had 230,000 in 2015 and another 390,000 by the end of, alone from Syria by the end of 2018, you're talking about 2.5 million of additional migrants that will come to Germany because of chain migration. The real problem is not even that. The real problem is that most of these people are not educated. The Afghans, for instance, the Afghan asylum applicants, more than 50% are illiterate. That just shows you what the problem is. In many of the African asylum seekers also have no education to speak of. And that, of course, makes very difficult the intention of Germany to employ these people, because they have no skills. So the other problem is that it now has become obvious that the previous efforts to assimilate migrants from a Muslim background, especially the Turks, the gastarbeiters, have failed. Most of the Turks are still on welfare, and it is obvious that they have strong Islamist sympathies, because more than half of them, 63% actually, voted in the referendum for Erdogan, who is a person who is an Islamist person who is destroying the remnants of democracy in Turkey. So that is a problem, and the most serious problem, perhaps, is that Merkel continues to not be willing to admit that she made a huge mistake. And in fact, just recently, she, in a speech to the Bundestag on February 22nd, she threatened Eastern Europe with consequences if they were not to take migrants in, what she calls their fair share. And of course, Eastern Europe refuses to do that, because they see that the whole assimilation and integration thing in Germany is a dismal failure. So they cannot imagine that it will work better in their place, and they refuse to take any migrants. So this is the beginning of a more serious conflict between Western and Eastern Europe, which unfortunately seems to me is unavoidable.